All right, let's get rolling. This is Daniel with Screen Repair Business Academy and I Value Repair. This is episode 3 of the Daniel Bryan Show, where I bring you the ins and outs of what it takes to run a screen repair business and balance life as a coach, a business owner, a pastor, father, husband, and a follower of Jesus Christ. That's a lot of the different hats I wear. So I want to unpack one thing with you guys today, and that is going to be security and our hacking situation. Because more and more these days, people are hacking and getting into our devices. And I want to talk to you a little bit about what I went through. I promised in the reel that I posted this morning that I would unpack that a little bit. So let's dive on in. I want to unpack a little bit of what happened to me on October 5th and then again on October 15th. And then I'll share how you can avoid it and the kind of what I'm doing. Because the point of this show is to share my journey, kind of as a human guinea pig, of learning how to run this shop with extraordinary efficiency and profitability. I'm going to be interviewing pros. I'm going to be sharing my experiences, my wins, my losses, so you can follow along on my journey of what's happening. So today we're talking about hacking. On October 5th, I discovered one of the worst things that you could possibly discover is that you look at your bank account and you have $2,700 missing, and you've lost access to your business page as well as another organization you lead. I'm a pastor of a local church. I lost access to that page as well. Here's how it happened. I received a notification in Messenger on Facebook that my account was going to be deactivated because of intellectual property violations, and that's the church account. And I received that notification on a day that had a lot of different things going on. And I know that the way that I'm built is that sometimes I'm scatterbrained. I forget things. So I assumed that I'd messed something up, and I assumed that it was an official notification because it came to me in Facebook Messenger to my business page, and it looked legitimate, like good. There's a Facebook meta image in the sender, and the mistake I made was by clicking on the link in that post, and I failed to realize the link did not lead to facebook.com. Instead, it led somewhere random, and I needed to file a report, request that my page not be removed, and then I had to enter my Facebook password to verify that the page would not be removed. And I entered my Facebook password, nothing worked, and I entered a second time. And by the time I entered a second time, I realized, wait a second, this is a scam. I'm making a serious mistake. So at that point, I immediately got off, went to Facebook, changed my passwords, and I changed my passwords and everything, logged out of extra accounts. I was very thorough. But what I didn't do is I didn't make sure that my pages were protected, and I didn't make sure my bank cards were disconnected. The reality was when I clicked on that link and entered my password, I was immediately sucked in. They charged 3 major charges very quickly, and I lost a lot of money. Now, after that happened, I realized very quickly what had happened because I saw my checking account, and I called them up and I said, "Hey, these 3 charges are fraudulent. I need you to have them removed, and I need you to cancel my card and send me a new one." And they did that, and I was able to challenge the charges. I've gotten on support with Facebook to work on getting the accounts back, and that's an ongoing, painfully slow process. And so about a week went by since that happened. And then I got on my bank account this morning to kind of check and see where everything stood. And the good news was I'd gotten the 3 transactions back. I was refunded. I won the case. The bad news was I had 3 more identical fraudulent charges on there. And the crazy thing was those charges came through my new debit card, the one that they had sent me to replace the old one. And I'd not used that new debit card anywhere except to take my wife out to eat, to get gas, and to make one charge online on a site entirely separate from Facebook, a small company that I have a subscription with. I was blown away. I had no idea why I would have 3 more charges, especially charges that appeared to be on my new quote unquote good card. So I really quickly went to Fifth Third Bank, which where I bank for my personal stuff, and I went there and said, "Hey, what's going on?" And it turns out what happened was that Mastercard has a auto updater feature. And you might have noticed that when you get a new card in the mail for when your card expires, they send you a new card. You don't automatically have to re-enter the card number into all the services you have subscriptions with. Instead, they can just continue. And I hadn't thought about it. It was a convenience thing for me in the past. The subscriptions just continues because MasterCard pushes out the update. And normally that's a good thing. And normally, when you report a fraudulent charge and you report a card that's been hacked, the bank severs that connection and cancels the auto updating feature. My bank didn't do that. And what happened was Fifth Third and MasterCard pushed the update out to Facebook, and the thieves were able to steal 3 more transactions from me. So thankfully, I was able to go to the bank and completely sever the connection, order new cards, and challenge the transactions again. The plus side is I didn't lose more money. The downside is I still don't have the large amount of money that I lost in the first place. So, a few lessons I've learned from this situation, and just something I want to challenge you on because losing money is a big deal personally. It's hard on our family. It makes everything a lot more stressful, but it's also really difficult for the business because if you don't have cash, if you don't have cash flow, it really makes it hard for you to do business. I also found a $580 fraudulent charge on my business account today because I hadn't shut all of my business cards off as well. So, a few thoughts on kind of unpacking what happened with me and how you can prevent that in your life. Again, human guinea pig. First of all, never click on a link unless you've requested it or if it's just like a random advertisement. I didn't get into trouble simply because I clicked on this link. I got into trouble because I clicked on it and acted on it. I treated it like it was a legitimate link and I entered my Facebook password in there. That's the thing that shot me in the behind was clicking on it and acting on it. But as a rule, if your bank, if Facebook, your utility company, your loan company, your mortgage company, anyone sends you a email and say, "Hey, there's a problem," don't click on the link unless you request it. For example, I get a lot of emails from PayPal or Norton Antivirus to say that my subscription is up, and those are classic scams. Make sure if you have an organization that you have a subscription to and you get a notice that something's wrong, go to paypal.com, go to spectrum.com or paypal.com, go to the actual site, and if there's a problem with your account, you can log in and your account will have a notification online. So never click on a link unless you never click on a link unless you requested it. If you, for example, you go to facebook.com and they say we need to confirm your email, we're going to send you a link right now. If you see on the page, we're going to send you an email and then you receive the email, that's safe to click on. Also, secondly, keep good passwords. One of the saving graces for me in this situation is I set really good passwords for my accounts across the board. And I use two-factor authentication and I use apps called authenticator apps. Two-factor authentication, as many of you guys know, this is old hat for many of you, but maybe for some of you, you're learning something here. Two-factor authentication is simply when a company sends a verification to your phone number and they verify it. It's an SMS text message with a code that you enter. A second layer of protection that you can use, and I highly recommend using, is using an authenticator app. An authenticator app is an app you can see it's counting down here. It's constantly has a changing number. You sync up with your various accounts. And when you synchronize that app with your various accounts, whenever I log into Facebook now, it asks me for a code for my authenticator app. And you use SMS two-factor authentication, you use authenticator apps, and you set good passwords. And if you do those things, you have a reasonably good level of protection. But the thing is, mistakes happen. I don't have identity theft insurance. Thankfully, so far as what's happened right now, I didn't necessarily have my identity stolen, but what I had was I had a what's called social hacking, social engineering, where they didn't like hack me or steal my identity writ large. They simply hacked into my account by tricking me. Now, the net effect of this is I still don't have control of over my church account or my Facebook business page account. A couple of solutions that people have suggested to me. One of them is for you to maybe consider if, with your accounts, is to consider having multiple administrative users on your account. I don't have multiple administrative users on my repair shop account or the church. Uh, I did. I have. It was just me, and that was a big mistake because that made it harder for me to regain access, and it made it easier for them to disconnect me. Now, of course, if a bad actor gets in there with my identity, it would be just as easy for them to just cut everyone else out, but it would take more time. Secondly, one person recommends that if you use credit cards for vulnerable accounts, then a credit card is a lot easier to challenge a transaction because what happened to me is that I had actual real money stolen from my checking account. If I had used a credit card with this, then it would be more like fake money that you just challenge the transaction and don't pay the credit card company for those transactions. So in that case, if I'd used credit cards, it would have been easier here. Personally, I try to avoid using credit cards. Just credit cards make it easier for you to overspend. And running a business, from my perspective, it works a whole lot better when I don't use a credit card, and that limits my expenses and just keeps things a lot more straightforward. So I've been really running the business, and running my family. We're tightening our budget in terms of our food and how I run the business. But one of the great things about running a repair shop is one of the great things about running a side business is you have a stream of income coming in. If I was if I was just employed by the church where I work and counting on that check, which I got once a month, then and this happened, then I would be sitting there thinking, okay, I hope that I've got enough in savings and emergency fund to cover me until the next check comes. I hope and pray that I can make it. Now, don't get me wrong. Whether you have a side business repairing phones or you are a single income family, living in this world is a matter of, I think, as a Christian, is trusting God. You may not be a Christian, and that's your choice. I'm here to serve as many people as I can, whether or not you're a Christian. But living in this world, you have to be willing to accept what you can't control, and there's a lot of things we can't control. But what I can tell you is because I have a second stream of income repairing phones, I've got stacks of devices on the table behind me and over on my to be repaired stack over here on my desk. Tons of repairs in process. I simply do the work. I've got cash flowing in. Now, of course, we've got expenses in the business. There's cash flowing in and out, but I have money to make things work for my family, to make things work for the business. Again, I have to watch my expenses. I've employed programs like Profit First by Mike McAllowitz, and I try to avoid using credit cards and a lot of other things to make sure I don't overextend myself in the business. But again, because I run a repair shop and because I run a business, it dampens some of the blow of this hacking. So be careful online. Get identity theft insurance. Don't click on links unless you request them. Set good passwords. Use SMS verifications and authenticator apps. Stay safe. Keep living. Keep learning. Have a good day. I'll see you tomorrow.